So my favorite home safety tip is actually something that I learned from a friend of mine who did a lot of woodwork and metalwork around his house. I don't usually get that in depth with things, but when I do, I need to make sure that all my gear is where I need it. So out in the garage, I've got some simple tools. I got a toolbox. I always have safety glasses in with the toolbox. I've got some power tools here, safety glasses ready to go, gloves if I need them, tool belt. Pretty much the same setup out in my shop. So around all my saws, around all my bigger equipment, I've got all the gear that I need staged right at that piece of equipment so that I never forget it and never have a chance to take that shortcut. That's pretty much it.
My best advice for home safety is more general. It's, safety isn't just for the workplace. It's also for home. Hopefully your company encourages you to take your PPE home with you, and you can use it while you're mowing the lawn, while you're weed whacking, and that sort of thing. And then also, even lockout takeout procedures can be used at home. If you're going to be changing an outlet, you want to cut the power. If you're working on the vacuum cleaner, I have to do this all the time. I have to clear out the vacuum cleaner and unplug it before you work on it. Just, apply the just common sense principles to home. If you're working on a ladder, tie it off, So I think a lot of the same principles apply. The most important thing is that, know that you're human and you're going to mess up. And so if you take some steps and just apply the systems approach to your home, it can go a long way, especially if you have little kids. I remember when my son was just crawling, sometimes my wife would leave the gate off of the stairwell, and I would tell her, keep the gate up. And she said, oh no, I'm watching him. And I said, yeah, but what if you don't watch him? You can still watch him with the gate closed. So, rely on the system. Keep those barriers in place, and it'll help you out when you get distracted or you mess up, which is inevitable.
I think the number one home safety tip for me is communication. Do your kids know what to do in case of an emergency? Or do they know what to do if it's an oil fire? Or, just having a conversation with the people in your home, what to do if a burglar comes in, how to properly secure the house to make sure that there's not any easy entry points. There's a lot of safety things that are involved with a home that aren't necessarily involved in your workplace. So communication, knowing that they're what to do in case of an emergency. These are my number one home safety tips. Take that time to have that conversation before something happens to make sure that it's ready to go if it does.
My favorite home safety tip from my backyard to yours is home maintenance. And when I was a renter, I found this Google Calendar that I could subscribe to that gave me reminders throughout the year of different home maintenance activities that I should do. Things like cleaning your dryer vents, checking your smoke detectors, turning off your exterior water supply before winter starts to avoid a burst frozen pipe in your basement. Use technology to help you with your home maintenance and keep your home safe.
So the best way to stay safe at home, in my book, is practicing your evacuation plan, how to get out in case there's a fire, what numbers to call if there's an emergency, and just running through that, especially if you have little ones at home. It's definitely good for them to know how to get out, what are the means of egress, what if I'm trapped, what do I do, and then where to go afterwards. So we run through it at least once a month, just so that way it stays fresh in their minds. I have little ones at home, so I even took it a step further and got some little escape ladders to throw out the window, so that way they can get down if they are trapped in their room. So just practice makes perfect, and it's definitely something to practice, especially with little ones.